Hi folks, just getting ready to go out for a session. I thought I'd do a little video on, I suppose, why the game, I'm talking about football here, needs people like you. It's not like the game of football has changed radically in 50 years. The simples, behind the game, tackling, passing, moving, athleticism, that's the same. But as coaches, as people involved in the game, we just need to get smarter about being human around the game. Why do we need to get smarter about the whole human experience around playing football? Is because without a doubt, the game is a lot more complex than it's ever been in terms of the bits around the game, the social media, who's around with the agents, the up and down, what goes on up and down clubs, all the things you have to pay attention to. If your son or daughter's in the youth game, do you go into the pro academy, do you do private, do you do both, do you do grassroots? So about being human, about learning and empathizing with the human experience has become really a kind of important as a coach. Why is it so important? Why is it so important? Why is it so important is, if as a coach you understand emotional intelligence, your ability to understand yourself and your ability to understand other people, especially at the youth level, if you can understand what it feels like for a young player, the joys of the game, what they love about the game, being with their mates, getting better at things. All the things that we loved about the game are still there. So if you can be in touch with that within yourself, that just love of the game. But also, if you can understand and you can relate to the other side of it as well, the fear often, or the uncertainty as a young player, having to learn a skill in front of your peers and making mistakes, or stepping up and playing at an older age group. If as a youth coach you can empathise with that, doesn't mean sympathise, it means empathise. If you can remember what it's like to take a risk, what a coach you are going to become. You are going to have the pillars, the emotional pillars to allow your technical, tactical, physical skills as a coach come really into the fore. Because here's what it's all about. We're not just building structures and systems that help develop great footballers. What we're doing is we're helping nurture great people. That's the aspirations. We'll always fall short, but we'll always get up and we'll think, right, what can I do differently today to help develop that person in front of me? And where do I start? I think as a coach, as a person, how do I actually do things a little bit differently to develop myself as a coach and a person, so I can bring my full self to the coaching arena. So have a great day, folks. Good morning, it's cup final, semi-final day, and I just thought I'd come in on and do a live carrying on from yesterday, just on why empathy would be important to a coach or a manager or actually a teammate. Why is empathy important, and human-to-human connection? And it got really reinforced last night when I read an article on a good friend of mine, and I'll come back to that, on I suppose one of the reasons that made him leave the game was he stopped feeling that connection, which he loved. So when we're talking about empathy, what are we talking about? Why empathy is so important for a coach, especially nowadays. Empathy is that ability as a coach to connect to the emotional charge that your players are feeling at any given moment. Consciously or unconsciously understanding it. So it might be the exhilaration of winning a match, the pain of losing the match, the excitement about learning something new, the excitement of a match that's coming up. As a coach, if I can relate to that unconsciously, I can feel that, I'm building a far higher level of trust with the player that's in front of me. Because unconsciously they get that you understand them. And now this is, again, for evolutionary psychology, is we want to be around people that makes us feel safe and has that connection as well. Even if we're not just in a competitive environment, if we're in an environment where we're developing young players, that feel a young player has for you, that feel a player has for you, though I'm in an environment that I can make mistakes, I can go and try things out, I can speak to the coach, they'll understand me. You know, that if I ask players a lot what coach got the best out of them, invariably the answer will come back is, oh, you know, I loved to play for him, you know, or he really understood me. That is empathy. They got it, and understanding yourself. So when you emphasize, are empathetic towards your players, it doesn't mean you're sympathetic all the time, you're jumping in a hole with them. What it means is you understand their worldview, you understand emotionally how they may feel at any given point. Now, what that does is it builds a container for you. It helps you and the player build a container that you can develop the relationship, you can develop the skills, you have an environment which will nurture them, but environment allows you to go into competitive environments trusting each other. So that is why empathy is so important. It's that connection with each other, that connection, that trust, really. It's a deeper sense of trust that they know you understand them, and it allows them, whether in a competitive environment, to go together and go into the cauldron and take victory or defeat as it comes together, or they trust you that you will, with the best of interests, help them get the most out of their game. So that's empathy. You want to find out more about empathy and kind of modern coaching skills, go to my website, donmacnaughton.co.uk, but there's tons here on the page, free resources as well. Okay, have a great day.